This is a beautiful energy. And again, the subject here sits in the minor, but in terms of the healing, these are major messages. Hello, Capricorn. My name is Kristen Simone Hansen, and welcome to SeaGoat Secrets. Hello, Capricorn. I am Kristen, and I'm a healer. In this video, you are going to get a full rundown of Capricorn's energy for the month of February and how it affects you and your placements. I begin with the astrology, and I end with a card reading. If at any point in this video you feel connected to me and would like to become a client of mine, you can do so by joining this link here and also in the bio. I welcome you. And as you all know, I am a global citizen, and so if you have not already, let me know where you're listening from in the comments and we can all connect and be a strong collective. Now, with all that being said, let's get into this. I remove myself. I remove myself. I remove myself. I remove myself. Okay. Hi, Capricorn. I am back. Funny enough, ironically enough, here I am. Nice to see you. For those of you who do not know what I mean, who are joining me for the first time, I've been gone for a little while. So here we are with a great return. Let's, jump, right? Like I said before, let's get into this. So when we look at the month of January, we saw Capricorn season come in. And I don't want to say it came in with a bang. Capricorn season kind of came in with an eerie, screeching door opening itself into the new year, mainly because of what was going on with Sagittarius season, where it left you in your subconscious mind, bringing up the past, kind of unearthing things, the shadows of the past, mainly because of Pluto. It was the Capricorn Pluto shadow period, and you were moving through that as Capricorn did exit Pluto. However, everything has, let's say, an aftermath. So when we look at January brought you through the shadow period of Capricorn being in Pluto from the beginning of the month to the end of the month. And yeah, Capricorn season showed you what it is that you were capable of, what it is that you could possibly do with yourself. But it also shined a light on identity politics and who it is that you are in the world. As we moved through into Aquarius season at the second half of January, that's when things got a lot lighter. The energy felt a lot lighter, and the divine pretty much brought itself into getting you to understand your value systems, your self-worth, self-wealth, different things like that, and what it is that you deserve for yourself. Some of the things that you saw during Capricorn season, or maybe wanted for yourself or started to awaken to, becoming realized during Aquarius season. Now, from January, I would say you walked into February with more of a hopeful kind of energy, but again, this conversation of the past. It's really important for you guys to know that we are in a 9-year, and while being in the 9-year, it's important to pay attention to your memories, because your memories are in full degree. So it's kind of this feeling of, although you are out of the Capricorn Pluto transit, the mind is still going through or navigating through the experiences of your past, particularly during your transit period, the last 16 years and what has actually taken place in your life. So yes, the energy is lighter. Yes, it feels like something isn't necessarily pulling you through the ringer, but you could be dealing with just the post-trauma of such experience, because Pluto was in your first house and it was literally shaking the ground of your identity. And as it was shaking the ground of that, you were kind of out of control in your own way. Let's just say that. And here we are in the 9-year that is bringing up all of these memories and dredging them up. And while we're in Aquarius season is asking you to look at your self-worth. So as you look at your self-worth and what it is that you can have for yourself and how abundant you could possibly be, it kind of, again, is let's say, crashing up against the past and what once was, and this kind of intersectionality of what you want for yourself versus where you've been. And trying to understand if you have the energy to, let's say, progress forward, or wanting to kind of stay back in a way. So let's go into February. So February in itself, again, the energy gets lighter by the day when it comes to Capricorn. Aquarius wants to heal you, and healing is not always comfortable. It's not always a pretty experience, but that is what Aquarius wants to do. Aquarius wants you to love yourself deeper, value yourself more. It's a Venusian awakening for you guys. And that is where the progression of peace comes in with Aquarius. But in order to get there, you have to go through the process of understanding one first house experience, like moving from Aries energy into Taurian energy, moving from the Emperor into the Empress, the hard worker, the pioneer, having to drudge yourself up that mountain, ram against different things. Now moving into the sweet softness of Venusian energy can be a bit of a process, from going to being the warrior into being, let's say, the divine goddess in that way, from being outside to being inside, and the process of that, and how it can be quite difficult. And this is kind of something that you guys would be navigating pretty much on a daily basis, understanding how to have more self-care, more self-love, self-navigation in a way that you are softer to yourself or kinder to yourself, or allowing things to be more at ease. And this is the journey from the first to the second house in that way. So when we started the month, we had a beautiful Venus entering Aries. Speaking about Aries energy, just so you know, we are now in February. And Jupiter went direct in Gemini. So there was a period of time in the month of January where self-criticism was at a very high degree. And a lot of that is because of where Jupiter is. Jupiter is in your sixth house. And as it's in your sixth house, it's the house of, let's say, self-criticism, working, hard work, and also your health matters. So conversations around your body, conversations about what it is that you're doing at work, if you're pulling enough weight when it comes to work, and all of these things in terms of resistance. This is now direct. So there's no more, let's say, hyper revision tied to these subjects. You're now ready to, let's say, get the ball rolling. If it was an issue with your body or your physical health, or if it was an issue with your work ethic and what it is that you can do pertaining to your work, you could have taken time to refine. Whereas at this point, the refinement is now leading to actual action steps. This is accompanied with Venus being in Aries, which wants you to be in action. It wants you to be full of passion and intensity tied to what it is that you will do to stabilize yourself, because Aries is your fourth house, and the stabilization of the home, the stabilization of not just your home outside of yourself, but the home within the body. It's important to know that we are still in an Aries Chiron, and for you, Capricorn, this is all about the fourth house in terms of, again, personality balance, personality stabilization, soul stabilization, and then how that's reflected on the outside. So the home that you live in, the neighborhood that you live in, the country that you live in, where is home for you? This Venusian energy is here now with Aquarius being in Pluto and all these other Aquarian activations that are, again, giving to you a new viewpoint of what it is that you deserve, and how is it that you will add more comfort to your life, and how you will passionately back up a desire for comfort. The biggest thing also when it comes to this energy is, I would say, conflict, because we are still at a Mars in retrograde in Cancer. This is now here with a Venus being in Aries, and Venus in Aries is, let's say, the lover and fighter energy. It's the one where the spaces that you're usually comfortable in meet the punch in that case. So conflicts can be at high degree, fighting with your loved ones, fighting with the people in your close quarters because of the passion of the Aries energy, accompanied with retrograde happening in Cancer Mars, in the Cancer Mars. Now, when we move on from there, we had the fifth house activated as the first quarter moon went into Taurus, and this is all happening in the first week of the month. And this, again, was asking you to dive deeper in terms of your pleasure sectors and what it is that you deserve for yourself. A lot of you guys could find yourselves fighting for yourself, or fighting for what you feel like is your comfort, happiness, peace, balance within the self, wanting more money, wanting more finances, wanting more comforts. There could also be a restriction tied to this energy as well. Anything to make it so that you have to prioritize your self-care. And the divine can do this in many different ways, where it can create a void in order for you to fill that void in. or it can just show it to you or highlight it to you in a way where it says, hey, you deserve better, or you have to do more in order to receive more. So as we go into the second week, we've got second week. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering. We've got Neptune conjunct the North Node. The true North is now in Pisces, okay? And Neptune is in Pisces, the North is in Pisces. And then that also brings us into the full moon happening in Leo, closing out that week with Mercury entering Pisces. So this week in general, the second week of February is an interesting back and forth, because where we see this activation happening with the Piscean, let's say all of the Piscean conjunctions, is compassion. Most importantly, because this is your personal reading, okay? Self-compassion. When I say personal, for those of you who are watching me for the first time, I'm here speaking mostly about your subconscious, what's going on in your emotional, psychological, spiritual body, more than I am the practical. I have a career reading and I have a love reading, but this one is here just for you, okay? And the bare bones of you. So when we're looking at that time period, the second week leading into the third, self-compassion becomes a big conversation, but not just self-compassion in terms of how you see yourself, but how you see yourself in relation to others. You're going to get an awareness of how you can better show up in your conversation, specifically how you communicate with other people and how you want other people to communicate with you, how you're interacting with the people in your day-to-day life. So this is relationships, neighbors, people you see every day, could be at work, but you really want to feel like you're understood and you want to feel like other people understand you. The most beautiful thing here, Capricorn, is yes, you're going to be aware of where you have shortcomings in the way that you communicate and the way that you most importantly communicate your emotions. But also people are going to be more compassionate to you, which is the thing that I think makes me the happiest, Capricorn, in that sense of the second to third week. There is this activation, a natural way that you're going to be seen more clearly by the people that you're around on a day-to-day basis. And they want to understand you. They want to, let's say, understand your plight or your fight or I guess your narrative in that way. And it's like pulling closer to you, wanting to pour water to you, into you in that way. And that's a very beautiful energy for you to experience. And again, an indication of the divine's way of showing you the wealth of what you deserve when it comes to these matters. The full moon happening in Leo also during that same time period will also awaken the shadow. So we will discuss this in the career reading in terms of debts. But these are also your karmic debts, your emotional debts, what is still sitting in the crevices of your spirit. You guys have been through a lot in a very short period of time. 16 years sounds long, but actually it's kind of just a touch over the sunrise in a way, you know? And it's a very pressurized experience to go through a Pluto transformation. And so this can, because we are in a 9-year as well, this is bringing up the past. This is some dark shadows that have been, let's say, shoved into the corners of your room, coming out to see you. The Leo full moon wants you to really address these things. It highlights them at the fullest degree. Times where power dynamics hurt you, times where ego destroyed you, your own ego and also the egos of others, your power and the power of others. The sharp edges of glass that are still placed within your skin and wanting you to take them out and look at them instead of shove them down or push them away. And the Piscean energy comes in as a beautiful, let's say, soft river. And again, the close quarter. So who you're around can be people that you confide in. Through communication, you'll be able to find healing when it comes to this energy of the Leo full moon, which is very nice. So then we go into the third week, and this is where the sun enters Pisces. So again, more Pisces activation. And we've got the last quarter moon happening in Sag. And then at that point, we go into the Mars direct Cancer. So during the third week, I would say, again, this is a lot tied to how you're communicating and what's sitting in the subconscious mind. So your belief systems that are buried deep within your head, and how is it that you can do more to communicate better how it is that you feel. How can you deserve, or I guess that sentence doesn't make sense. How can you better communicate what you deserve? I guess that makes sense, right? How can you communicate better what it is that you deserve? And how can, most importantly, you understand that more than anyone else? There is a lot of water. There is a lot of compassion. There is a lot of understanding, but you have to be compassionate to yourself first. You have to give water to yourself first. And it doesn't say that that's going to be an easy experience. I think the idea sounds easy, but it in actual practice can be a little bit different. Okay. So go easy on yourself. It's not to say this is a difficult month, not at all. February is not necessarily a month of intense difficulty. In terms of, let's say, cosmically things drudging upon you. But I would say that February feels like it is a process for you emotionally. It's a process for you in terms of the way you are self-navigating and seeing how you can better treat yourself to have a chance at being able to experience a wealthier spiritual experience. So the third week has you reviewing your subconscious beliefs and what sits inside the mind in terms of ideas that serve you and ideas that don't. And lastly, we're going to finish off the month with Mars going direct in Cancer and Saturn sextiling Chiron. So when Mars finally goes direct in Cancer, this is where you can actually have the action steps toward, let's say, better self-nurturing, putting in practical solutions that cause you to have a more nurtured relationship with yourself. A lot of the things that are going on in February are around the themes of how you treat yourself. How is it that you nurture yourself? How you allow masculine energies as well. And this is also important for Capricorn masculines. It's not just Capricorn feminines, but how do masculine energies nurture you? And how are you allowing yourself to kind of take a secondary role to other individuals and outside experiences that want to nurture you, that want to have a more softer approach to you versus the power approach of Leo, where the Mars in Leo got you to awaken to your personal power because you were dealing with difficult power dynamics. Some of you, it's important to pay really close attention, because you could even find yourself being able to communicate with people that you found difficulty with during, let's say, the Leo Mars transit, like in December, November, that now that we're in the time period that we're in, you can go to the same person or go to the same place and actually have a more harmonious experience. Because again, the Mars in Cancer is trying to get you to reevaluate and revise the way that you communicate power dynamics, the way that you get things done, and is doing it with Aquarius also just trying to carve a new generational reality to you of a more wealthy, more Venusian, softer kind of approach to different things. But again, you are the person who's in the driver's seat of, let's say, your issues. Okay. So when we close out with Mars going direct, this is you being able to actually practicalize these things, wanting to maybe add more self-care, wanting to keep the people around you that give you more of this nurturing kind of Cancerian energy, wanting to revisit and revise the way that you communicate with yourself, especially because we're talking about Pisces. We're going to be in Pisces season. So the Mercury activation of how you communicate to others, and most importantly, how you communicate with yourself, your own self-talk. So how is it that you can practicalize this, add more water to this, add more, again, the Cancerian desire to kind of nurture this, allow the emotions to really move through. So when Mars goes direct, that's where things act more seamless in that place. It's still important to understand that Cancer is in detriment in Mars, and it can be a very uncomfortable place, but it's also a space of passion, a space of, let's say, a lot of honesty and the ability to take the emotions and create action steps toward things that honor the emotions. And then we close out with the sextile happening from Chiron to Saturn. And this adds again, a way in which people are seeing you. So you're showing up in a dynamic that activates the third and the fourth house, which says, how am I communicating and how am I comfortable in my close quarters. So in my home, how am I expressing how it is that I feel in a way that makes me feel more honored? My day-to-day conversations, my day-to-day activities. This is a activation that brings a beautiful, let's say, closure to the month in terms of you being able to experience that comfort and that personal grace. So honor it, honor yourself, allow other people to honor you, especially the people closest to you. I would say February is a very personal kind of relationship when it comes to the tenderness of the things that are sitting inside of you and how the people closest to you understand that. Okay. So I love you. And yeah, I will see you for the reading now. All right. Hi, Capricorn. So here we are with your personal reading for the month of February. And the first things first, the thing we see here going on in the subject is a burden. Okay, a burden is being carried, a fight is taking place, but this is so that you can have a fresh new beginning. Okay, so you want something fresh, you want something new, you want something to feel renewed. You're like youthful and passionate and almost vivacious in terms of whatever this pentacle is that you are trying to bring forward. Transcending obstacles. This is the subject here for those of you who are not used to working with me. Transcending obstacles, expansion, newness. But here we see not enough, lacking in confidence, self-sabotage, and stabbed in the back. Ouch. Stabbed in the back sits here next to the Five of Swords. So as it sits next to the Five of Swords, who are you fighting exactly? This is your personal, okay? So a lot of this is inside. And like I mentioned to you guys during your personal reading, during your astrology portion, a lot of things feel like they are sitting in the lower chakras for you guys, the 3 lower ones. And lately that was the case a lot during last year as well. And I think it probably is again, this transitional energy of Pluto reshaping your identity, which is in your lower chakra area, you know? But yeah, so we see that you want to feel renewed. You want a fresh, stable, new start. So on the external, there can be a lot of things on the outside that you're trying to stabilize, but you're dealing with insecurities. You're trying to transcend obstacles. You're trying to move through this burden. So when I see the 10 of Wands here accompanied with the other cards, it doesn't necessarily seem like the burden is something that's weighing on you. It seems like you truly are trying to carry wands across that river. And when you get across that river, you can actually place them down. So in this case, the 10 of Wands doesn't feel like something that needs to be released, but it's something that you're prevailing through. There are things that you're trying to carry so that you can prevail to the other side, so you can transcend, so you can create a new phase here with the Page of Pentacles. But you're scared, you're frustrated, you're worried. You know, there's insecurity. And then we see this deception, shocking attack, stabbed in the back energy with the Five of Swords. So I can't deny the fact that some of you may face a situation where you are in a bloody battle that shocks you. Someone can betray you. Someone can shock you. Someone in your life, something happening on the external can pop up and show up in a way that wounds you. Now, for others of you, this can be an ongoing Five of Swords energy. This can be the pain and the deception of the wars or the battles that you have already faced. And that could be something that weighs upon you. When we look at your shadow, this is the 9 of Cups in reverse. So this is the 9 of Calabash along with the 10 of Calabash. Okay, so the 9 and 10 of Calabash are about great happiness. The 9 of Calabash is more the manifestation that you've created yourself as an individual. When you desire the life that you want for yourself and you see it come into fruition and you're living life on your own terms. And the 10 of Calabash is when you get there and you're able to share that happiness with others. You have the 9 of Calabash in reverse and you have the 10 of Calabash upright in terms of what you fear. So it's like you fear not being able to get your wish fulfillment. You fear not being happy. Genuine happiness is what you fear. You fear that you will not be satisfied and you will not prevail in your own joy and what it is that you desire. And we see that here along with your insecurities. So transcending obstacles, moving through, passing through this burden to create this fresh, vibrant newness in your energy. But underneath that, we've got stabbed in the back with the Five of Swords. And it seems like that Five of Swords is that driving energy. It's like, what are you fighting for? The fear is like as if the ground is going to be ripped from underneath you, or something is going to hurt you, something's going to wound you, someone is going to stab you in the back. There will be some deception here. This is the subject in terms of what's going on. You're balancing that. You're balancing trying to transcend and evolve with this and prevailing through with this stabbed in the back deception, pain energy with the Five of Swords. And this is leading you to feeling insecure and like you don't have what it takes. The positive here is these are all minors. Okay, so these are all minor arcanas. We're not looking at major arcanas. When it comes to your personal reading with me, I always tend to look for your majors, the major arcana, because this is what's happening inside of you. This is what's happening in your emotional center. And so the majors can really indicate major emotional moments, life upheavals, things that you're really focused on emotionally, mentally, spiritually. But in this case, these are all minors. So it feels like simple movement in this case. Trying to create new, trying to go through the new, but it's a process. And you're fighting for that process, but you're also carrying a worry and a fear about being stabbed in the back, about pain that has been sitting here, pain that has been existing, and it's the driving force behind your insecurity, even though you're trying to prevail through it. In your advice, we have going beyond normal with restore and replenish. So at the end of the day, you need to heal. When we see restore and replenish, it lets me know that this isn't in your head. So this stabbed in the back, shocking attack, pain that is in the subject here, which is probably the driving force behind you feeling like you have to fight at all costs with the Five of Swords, is something that is very real. It's realized because it's real. And it's causing you to be in your shadow, worried that you will not be able to get your wish fulfillments and you will not live a happy life. Restore and replenish is necessary. You have to allow yourself to slow down and heal. You have to allow yourself to, slow down that clock, slow down the moments, and to be with yourself, be real with yourself about where it is that you are and what it is that you have been through. Because I don't see here something that says that, we do see in the healing point that you need to move from anxiety. So this is the advice, allowing yourself to heal and go beyond normal, do things differently than you have previously. And in which lets us know that what it is that you feel is something that's very real. However, in the healing points, we have some very strong healing points here. Okay, we have air and we have fire. And Bath Call is all about understanding to eschew complicated explanations. It's my card that is an indicator of anxiety, that lets me know that you're overthinking, that things are much more straightforward than you think that they are. And this is one of my favorite cards because this is all about critical acclaim. It's stardom, especially if you're on social media. It's knowing you're the star, knowing you're the it person. So it's like, are you overthinking something? Especially because remember, this is your personal reading. So whatever it is that you're carrying, especially when it comes to your insecurity, sense of self, it's something that is causing you to overthink, and it's something that is causing a major amount of pain. Again, this back and forth energy between deception and Five of Swords energy. But you are the victor here. You are the winner here. You need to understand that it's because you're the star. Go beyond normal. Venture beyond your normal perception of yourself in this situation or situations that are showing up on the outside. You need to heal your relationship with the way you are looking at things, because a lot of it is based in your own anxiety. It's like you're overthinking something. There has been pain, but it's almost like you're overthinking the pain to a point of you're beating it to death. And as you're beating it to death, it's like it's causing more and more insecurity. It's causing more and more frustration here. You are the victor. You are the star. Go beyond normal. Venture beyond the perception that you've often kept yourself at, the low point that you've been keeping yourself at when it comes to this energy. And that is how you heal. At the bottom of the healing deck, we have Shekinah. Shekinah is about allowing the divine to take lead. The divine wants to control and navigate this situation. She wants to take control here. I'll read all the healing points for you, okay? So on the top, we have an air energy. A way through the struggle. A way through the struggle has already been created for you, and you are being led onto that path. Your authentic soul path may include recognition and acclaim, notable success and admiration. Be grateful, but do not be dazzled or distracted by such experiences. Focus on what connects you to your heart and grounds you in the simplicity of your spiritual truth, which is the practice of love, kindness, and peace. This will allow for successful progress in the material world without disrupting the sanctity of your soul. Okay, so that's healing point 1. Healing point 2, eschew complicated explanations as you seek the simplicity of your deepest truth of your heart. Gently but firmly cast aside that which does not resonate as being true for your heart. Focus upon and speak from a higher spiritual perspective. Higher spiritual perspective, go beyond normal. Restore and replenish by going beyond normal. Speak from a higher spiritual perspective. Know who you are, Capricorn. Critical acclaim. Star quality, star image, what you are fighting is in your own mind. It's in your own belly. Not to say that it comes from nowhere. It definitely comes from somewhere. It definitely comes from a real experience of you having to be in this 5 of Swords with this deception, heartbreak, pain. But it's misaligning you in terms of the way you see yourself and causing this lack of confidence and self-sabotage. Speak from a higher spiritual perspective. All prayers are answered at the perfect time and in the perfect way. You have a powerful voice that can foster healing and wisdom on our planet. So let's go through what's at the bottom here, okay? I showed you at the, you know what, actually, I'll read one more because, you know, at the bottom of the deck we had Shekinah. And Shekinah is a water energy. So we have air, fire, water. The spiritual worlds want to help you resolve your worldly concerns. This is the overarching energy, okay? It is safe for you to rely on spirit as a loving, protective, helpful, and practical presence able to positively affect all areas of your life, including facilitating the resolution of physical problems. Do not limit your spirituality to concepts. Instead, apply your higher knowledge and principles. Grow your wisdom and live your path. Acknowledge your value as a person, as a soul. Treasure the gift of your path and let your spirituality integrate with all facets of your life. Yeah, she wants to take control. Mother God wants to take control here, okay? And that is the overarching energy in terms of what you need to understand with your healing point. You are the star. You're overcomplicating it. You're not seeing yourself clearly, Capricorn. Or you have not seen yourself clearly up until this point, and you heal when you see yourself clearly, when you stop overcomplicating, overthinking the way that you see yourself or feel about yourself because of what has gone on the external. When we see at the bottom of the clarification deck, we have endings bring new beginnings and liberation. This is the overarching energy of all of this. As you transcend and ascend, understand your lack of self-confidence and your self-sabotage. Be aware of the deception and the pain that you've dealt with that has caused this back and forth to go on and on. At the bottom, and this is the most telling, at the bottom of the tarot, of the crow deck, we have the 8 of Swords. The 8 of Swords. The 8 of Swords is all about understanding that this is insecurity. This is you standing in your own way. This is self-imposed darkness here. So the overarching energy for this subject is self-imposed darkness. Endings bring about new beginnings. The death of your past self-perception that you need to move beyond normal. You need to heal, restore, and replenish your self-perception to go beyond the normal way that you have viewed yourself, because you're misaligned in who it is that you are. You are this. You're here with this person of value, this person of critical acclaim, this person who maybe the conflict that you have been dealing with is because you haven't seen yourself clearly as this bright shining light or this valuable person. Overcomplication, negative thinking, oversimplification to a point where you've kept yourself bound. It's endings bring new beginnings. It's time to transition that. And that's where this freshness comes in terms of trying to give birth to something new, almost like starting new with the Page of Pentacles. It's like, when they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? It's like allowing yourself to be a young dog again. Carrying those wands to the other side, fighting through. That's the energy. But it's because it's in your own head. You're breaking free from your own self-imposed darkness. That's the burden that you carry. Were the fights really worth it? Are the fights really worth it? The deception, the pain, the betrayal. But you're actually okay. Did the knife really cut that deep, or did you just give them the power to think that they cut you? At the bottom of the healing deck, we have go against the grain. Again, more going beyond normal, more doing things differently, stepping out and taking your own leap of faith, doing it your own way. At the bottom of the shadow deck, we have the Seven of Swords, which is the Seven of Cutlass in this deck, in reverse. It's interesting. I was looking to see that upright. But again, it's like your fear is not having happiness, not being able to get what it is that you want. And when we see the Seven of Swords in reverse, it probably means that you think that your happiness is something that you have to be strategic about, which lets me know that whatever it is that's going on inside, maybe you're in a place in your life or in a position in your life that you feel like being able to get what it is that you want would mean it would have to include some kind of strategy, some kind of cutting of a corner in some way, shape, or form. Like as if what it is that you want isn't naturally yours. And so you fear it. You fear it coming into fruition. But like we said, the divine wants to take lead here. You have to see yourself for who it is that you are and step out of this overthinking. You have to go beyond normal. Allow yourself to heal by thinking differently about yourself. This is a beautiful energy. And again, the subject here sits in the minor, but in terms of the healing, these are major messages. So a lot of this feels like an internal battle, maybe derived from deception. We're going to get some clarity. The Fool came out. What is it that you need to know? What is it that you need to do? Feel, be. Know, do, feel, be. Three of Cups came out. Know, do, feel, be. Okay, know, do, feel, be. Oh, the Hierophant. Seven of Pentacles. Okay, so we've got know, do. I apologize for everything getting a little. Know, do, feel, be. Wow, okay. All right, so what is it that you need to know, that you need to trust in what it is that you feel and not what you see? Okay, trust in what you feel and not what you see. Trust in your intuition. No, do, we've got the Ace of Wands. So again, fresh beginnings, prevailing through, kind of that same freshness of the Page of Pentacles. Allowing yourself to begin anew. My Ace of Wands, whenever I think of the Ace of Wands, I've spoken to you guys about this before. It feels like lava. That first spout of lava that shoots out of the ground, that wants new ground to be born, that wants new earth. Nothing else grows through new earth. Everything begins anew when lava hits the ground. It's you allowing the old to die. Like we said, endings bring new beginnings. The divine wants to take lead. You need to be ready to push that wand out and start fresh. The Ace of Wands is the wand of fire. Starting fresh, creating new, passionately, enthusiastically, youthfully in that way, especially with the Page of Pentacles. Be ready to begin brand new, not old. This is not an emotional new beginning. It's not a time to cradle yourself. It's not even a time to build new. Think new thoughts. It's a time to create. The Ace of Wands creates new. Pushes through itself. Fire can birth through fire, burn off that which is old. Allow for a freshness. Know, do, feel with the Chariot. I think this is great because we have Mars in Cancer right now. So with the Chariot energy, Mars is retrograde in Cancer. And that Chariot energy, if you're watching this later in the month, it's going to be direct. But Mars is in Cancer right now, and the Chariot is Cancerian. And so when you think of Cancer in Mars and needing to prevail, needing to be the victor, needing to be the champion, that's what you need to feel, that you can champion through, that you can get to the other side of this. Empower yourself, realizing that you deserve victory here. Even if it's an emotional victory, even if it's a hard fought victory in terms of the way your emotions are affected here. Because what it is that you need to be is the Five of Pentacles. Oftentimes, the Five of Pentacles is a Taurian energy, and oftentimes when we see it, especially as Capricorn dominance, it's not a good energy, right? As a Capricorn dominant, the Five of Pentacles it's terrifying. You know, it's the opposite of the Ten of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles can be about abandonment, scarcity. But this is what you need to be. So when one needs to be the Five of Pentacles, it's you needing to self-isolate, but self-isolate from that which no longer serves you. From whom no longer serves you, from ideas that no longer serve you as well. It's almost like self-cocooning in its own way. So we see that you need to do a great prevail here where you allow newness and allow yourself to separate completely, isolate completely from the old and power through in that way. Trust in what you feel and not what you see. I hope I was straightforward here. I know it sounded pretty elusive, but the most important thing to understand here is you're dealing with self-imposed darkness. You're dealing with insecurity here. In terms of your personal, in terms of what you're going through inside, you can be overthinking yourself to death. Break up with the past. Break up with the old, break up. And if it's in the present, break up with the people around you that are causing you this deception, heartbreak, this Five of Swords battle. You know, isolate, separate, move on. Just, you know, when I see the Five of Pentacles in terms of needing to self-isolate, it doesn't mean that you're putting yourself in a cocoon. When you self-isolate from a situation, it's kind of like just closing the door. Just closing the door and choosing to walk elsewhere quietly, not needing to say much. You know, the death is something different. The death is a big transformation of ending. You know, the Five of Pentacles just walks away from what it no longer is interested in being invested in. Especially when you know that you are the star here, that you are this vivacious, interesting, intricate person. It seems that you've had some really misaligned self-perceptions, and those are the things that you're trying to transform through or transcend. That's the burden that you're carrying to the other side. The thing that is weighing on your happiness is self-perception based on maybe the things that have happened or are happening as you're trying to create something new for yourself, which in terms of the personal, a new identity, a new way of living, a new way of existing that seems unscathed from the previous way of being. Which is why we see here the Ace of Wands in terms of what it is that you need to do. You're not wrong here. It is time to be new. But it requires you to stop attaching yourself to the ideas that don't serve you, to the people, to the concepts, to the thoughts. Stick to what truly resonates with the heart, what you know to be true. Because otherwise you're just putting those swords in your eyes. Let the divine take care of the things that you feel like you cannot control. Endings bring new beginnings. Self-liberate. Allow the coffin to close. Okay, so that's what I have for you. I love you. Ciao.